Hello, welcome to another episode of the Choose Strong podcast. I'm your host, Sally McRae, and today I have Elias Michael Wehbe.
Just go Wehbe.
Wehbe?
Let's go.
He just got done telling me that I have the next couple hours to practice saying it right. You say it the proper way.
Wehbe.
Wehbe.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, you just need more like
nailed
that
it.
spit in your throat, you know? It's like the Wehbe, you know?
Okay.
One day.
Wehbe.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go. Yeah, we got it.
I got to get it right. Names are important. So I'm very excited to have you on the podcast, Eli. For those of you that are just now tuning in, you've just started your run, maybe you've hopped on the treadmill, or you've just walked into the gym. As always, I want to say well done. Well done for showing up to your goals today. Well done for putting in that work. And I'll tell you what, we are sitting here with someone who really knows how to put in the work. In fact, he is training for one of the longest races, I think, that's on Ultra sign up right now. You're training for Arizona Monster 300, which we are going to get into just a minute. But Eli, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everyone? Let us know where you are from.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just go from there.
Yeah. What up, guys? I'm Eli. Grateful to be here. Thank you for having me on. And I currently live in Los Angeles, but I grew up in Riverside, or actually Moreno Valley, California.
Yes. So he is a SoCal boy.
Yep.
And at one point in both our lives, we were both 909ers. So I used to live out in the 909 area code. And it's good times. I think I know you're good friends with Max as well.
Yeah, he's a good buddy.
So we got a lot of 200-mile specialists here in SoCal. Now I actually want to start with just the Arizona Monster 300 and we'll kind of work our way back.
Okay.
Tell us why you chose to train for this race. We know it's the rise of the 200s right now. And, that race is becoming more and more popular. That distance is becoming more and more popular. What led you to finding out about the Arizona Monster 300 and thinking, this is a good idea for me to sign up for this one?
I guess over the last 12 months, I had ran pretty much all the 200-plus mile races other than Bigfoot because of that fire. And I was just like, man, what am I going to do next year? And then I remember Candace being like, yo, I'm creating this 300-mile race. I'm like, all right, I'm in. And that was it. I was just like, all right, it sounds like some sick stuff to do. Like, let's just go do things that are tough and that I feel like most people aren't going to want to do. Those are the things I'm signing up for.
Yeah. So the percentage of people that even run 200s, it's a very 0.00001%. I mean, to finish a 200, massive, even more so for a 300. What has your training been like lately?
Pretty much usually like 60 to 100 mile weeks. A lot of incline training, a lot of strength training. Recently, I've been kind of cutting down miles. I used to run 100-mile weeks all the time, and now I've been cutting down mileage and doing a lot more strength training. And I'm telling you, it has paid off. Like when I put that 15-pound bag on my back now, like I don't even really feel it. Remember Andy wrote me like 2 days ago. He's like, man, this bag sucks. And I'm like, not for me this time. I'm like, I feel great this time. I was like, you'll get used to it, buddy. Give it like a little 10 more times. But
Andy, you're talking about Andy
Glaze. Yeah.
So
you guys all know Andy.
He's your good buddy. You guys, do you guys train a lot together?
Yeah, he's like my running husband. That's what I call him. Yeah, sometimes we train together, and he's just been such a good friend and supporter, and he's such a staple in the ultra running community. Man, he just gets out there and grinds a lot, and it's definitely inspiring. And we both just like to grind, and we just get along really well. We just talk shit and run all day, And it's just you don't get along like that with everybody, and you always find that one person. And he's that for me, and it's great. And other than that, a lot of high protein, low carb meals, and then usually during my runs, I'll have lots of carbs while I'm running, trying to consume 300 calories per hour. You're still deficient no matter what you do. I mean, I'm probably burning 600-700 per hour, and a lot of contrast therapy, cold plunge, sauna, hyperbaric chamber, red light, physical therapy, compression boots. Like I'm big on the recovery stuff too. So that kind of wraps up the 300-mile training.
Eli, you are all in.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what does a typical training day look like for you? Because even just your recovery that you just said, I mean, I think not a lot of people listening have access to all of that stuff. And I think that sometimes we even overlook the importance of it.
Yeah.
So what does like just a typical training day look like for you? Let's say like a weekday.
Yeah. Usually get up around like 4:45, 5 in the morning. I'll just kind of, takes me about like 30, 40 minutes, kind of get ready, do a little foam roll, get out the door, go to the mountain, and usually hit anywhere between 10 to 20 miles, then come home, rinse off, make a smoothie, a lot of protein in it, and then go to the gym, hit a 90-minute strength training there, then either go to physical therapy or I'll go to hit the hyperbaric or red light or whatever's kind of open in the day. I kind of like hit the places up that I go to or the doctors that I know at the, physical therapy spot that I go to and see what times are available, and then come home, usually work on some sort of content for brand deals or whatever it is like that, and then jump into the cold plunge and sauna back and forth. You should do 3 rounds, like 15 minutes at 205 degrees and 3 minutes at 34 degrees in the plunge. And I do 3 rounds, and I usually end the night with that.
That's incredible. That's a solid day of taking care of your body, putting in the training. I should probably backtrack a little bit, because you just said you take care of content. You have a huge account online. I know you work closely with a lot of different brands. It looks like you just got signed by this new brand.
Dark Sport, yeah. They're big. They're big. Yeah. They're a big brand. There's they're big in the bodybuilding community, and then they started Dark Sport Ohana, which is like fighters and surfers and now runners. So like it's me and one other guys kind of like on the run team, and I'm going to kind of build the run team. And then they got like Max Holloway's like UFC fighter, and like a bunch of big, like if you know about surfing, there's like a bunch of big professional surfers on there, like legends on there. And like my buddy Koa Rothman's on there. This guy Bruce Irons. There's all these guys on there. They're just like legend surfers. And yeah, we're just like a big family, and it is cool. It's a really cool brand.
Yeah, their stuff's really cool.
Yeah.
So you're creating content, you're training, you're taking care of your body. How did you get into that? I mean, running as a running creator, working with brands. I know this is a very strong point of curiosity for people, because I know you make a really great living doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like with whatever you do, you got to put the time in. 5 years ago, I wasn't even running ultras, and I literally just kept running and sharing what I was doing. And pretty much last year and the start of this year is when everything started coming together. And I was reach out to brands and kind of sell myself. And majority of brands aren't reaching out to people. Like, you got to sell yourself to them. Like, you got to write them, you got to message them, you got to tell them what you're doing, you got to tell them what you're working on, you got to show them examples of like your engagement and like that, like you have a good audience, and like, you just got to sell yourself. And it didn't just happen overnight. Like, I'm on this 5th year now, and it's just starting to come together for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a question that I get a lot. There's this girl that's doing like a big run, a really, really long multi-day run. And she's like, I'm having a hard time getting sponsorship for it. And I just think like, man, someone needs to write a book on this, because I don't think people naturally know how to go about it. Now, and we'll talk a little bit about the job that you used to have, but do you feel like, what you used to do, has that helped you interact with brands? Do you feel like because you're naturally a business guy?
Yeah. It's 100%. Like, I was always very social. I was always a good networker. I always knew how to sell myself. Like, that's always one thing I've had of, has been very business savvy. And yeah, I would say a lot of people aren't that way. You can't really be shy. You got to like just put yourself out there, and you got to like not be afraid of like getting a no, because there's going to be like 9 no's and 1 yes, and like that 1 yes is going to change your life. Mm-hmm. And it's still like that now. Like, I'll reach out to like 4 to 5 different brands, and like, even some of the brands you've worked with, it doesn't work out with them and it works out with you. But like, it's just that one door closes, and then like, I'm like, damn, I'm glad that one didn't work out, because now I have a way better deal with this one. And it's just like, it's always like that, as long as you just keep working at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. I know that's something that I like to mentor athletes in, like when they come and talk to me. Yeah. I think partly why I'm good at working with brands is just because I started working by the time I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And so you work for several different industries, and you start to understand like, this is a game. Like, there's like a game, there's like a way to go about talking with people, building relationships. And at the end of the day, people want to know that you are going to sell their product.
Correct.
And I think that's kind of hard sometimes, especially for athletes.
Yeah.
They think, I'm getting on the podium, or I'm a really fast runner, I'm a strong runner, so you should sponsor me. It's like, well, it's kind of twofold. Like, you kind of have to be a business person and understand how it works. They're going to, because yes, you are doing a great job, but if you can't sell their product, you're not going to be sponsored for very long.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've talked about this a million times, and like, you'll see guys or girls win, and they just have 0 following or 0 presence, and it's like unfortunate, because they're so skilled at what they do, but they're not marketable. Mm-hmm. And you have to be marketable, and like, you can like never win a race and be marketable and have 1 million deals. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the world that we live in now, whether it's fair or not. That's just the way it's going. Like, you have to be able to sell, or you have to have some sort of marketing skill to help these brands grow.
What do you think it is that you have to offer brands that's valuable or
Um,
marketable?
I just have like my story's different. My story's so different from everyone else's. Like I don't come from any kind of running background. I don't come from any kind of athlete background. Obviously, like I have a whole book on where what happened to me and how I got to where I'm at today. And I definitely had some sort of audience before, like I was in the running community when I was in the nightlife community, and that kind of dragged along too. So like I had like a lot of these bigger celebrities and influencers already following me, and they're just like, "Yo, what the hell is this ultra running stuff? Like, what do you mean?" They're like, "Yo, do you have like I still till today I like run into people and they're like, you still run?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Are you doing like the LA marathon?" I'm like, "No, I'm like running 300 miles." Like they're like, "Huh?" Like 30, and I'm like, "No, 300." And they're like, what? Like, okay, like I gotta follow along this. Like, how is that even possible? And then like I have to break it all down for them. So like, I just think that like my story is very different and unique from anyone else's. Like, no one really left this glitz and glam of a lifestyle to come do this like daily suffering. Usually most people, even if they have some like drug addiction problem, whatever, they have like some sort of marine background or some sort of athletic background. But like, I still have not met anyone with like my story at all. And I don't think I will. That's why it's my story, and like that's just the way it goes. But yeah, I think I just have I still have like a good audience from my past, and now I've built like this whole running audience, and it's like mesh now.
Mhm.
So it's like it's different.
Yeah, so being unique, being your authentic self, and then not being afraid to share that.
Mm-hmm.
So and you are. I agree. You're a great communicator. You know how to talk to anybody. I mean, I think from the moment I met you, it was like just immediately, it was
Oh
just so
yeah,
easy
at
just to
Moab, yeah, we were
to
just
chat away. Yeah.
uh
And I think that that's definitely a strength. Being able to communicate, because I think that people can still do well online. You don't have to be this crazy extrovert and be fake. I think it's just if when you are authentic to who you are, you're going to build a unique audience,
mm-hmm.
and you have been a part of so many different communities. So I do see how
Yeah,
that helps. But yeah, let's go back to how you and I had first met. So it was Moab 2023.
yeah.
And Andy and I started up, I think we were entering into like mile 30 or something like that. And he and I were we were chatting about everything under the sun, as you do when you run these super long races. And then he brought you up. He's like, "Oh yeah, my buddy Eli's here. He took off like at 6-minute pace, but I think we're gonna catch him. I think we're gonna catch him." And sure enough, we get into like the mile 48 station, and there you were sitting on in a
Dying.
chair.
I was dying. And then you looked at me and go, "Hey, nice to meet you. Andy told me we'd catch you." And that was how we met. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I was there for a while too. I remember I was like in that aid station, and I remember going like, "Yo, did Andy come in?" They're like, "No, but I think he's close." I'm, "Oh man, there's no way he's catching me right now." And then he's like, "Told you, caught you. I already tell you." He's like, "I might be slow, but I'm consistent."
That's totally
Yeah.
his voice.
Yeah, he's like, and like it was just funny. And then I remember that's how we met, and I was just kind of laughing about it. I'm like, well, that's how one way to meet. And then you guys were even gonna take off before I was. That's how bad I was hurting. I'm like, no, you guys wait for me. I'm coming with you. I gotta send you the clip of us of like all three of us running, so
Yeah.
you can throw it into this episode.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
I'll make sure that
yeah.
Eddie does that. But oh my gosh,
I
so we shared some miles,
yeah,
and this is where I heard that you had a book. And
yes,
so you wrote a book called The Mask, and I think this is a great kind of turning point right now that I would love for you to kind of go from here and just explain how you went from being a club promoter to now training for 300 miles. And this is like in the span of like, what, 5 years, 4 years that you've.
yeah. I think like everything kind of shifted in 2020, like around maybe like almost it'll be like 5 years. It'll be about 5 years next month.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then you promised me, you're like, "Yo, I'm gonna read your book," and
Yeah.
and she did. And it's funny because she was like, "Hey, you want to come do the pod?" And I was like, "I think you should read my book first." She's like, "Oh, I've read it and I've listened to it, so we're on the same page here." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, yeah,
It's a fascinating story. I listened to it on Audible. So for those of you that are Audible listeners, as you run, as you work out, as you commute for your daily drive to work, it's a fascinating story. I think one of the things that stuck out to me was everyone in my family at some point has lived in LA. And I think whenever I travel around the world, there is kind of this mystery about LA. There's this pull and this curiosity about LA, the celebrity life, the musicians, the glitz, the glam, right?
mhm,
And I don't think it's really easy to understand it unless you actually live there, like
correct,
live there
yeah,
for a season and see. sometimes it's a very hard place to live, just as far as people relationships go.
Mhm.
But it's wild and fun too. And so I think it was just cool to hear your side of it, how you
Yeah.
went from living out in the 909, which I'll just really quickly for our listeners explain. The 909, which is like hour and a half, 2 hours from LA, it's like being in a different state. It's like out in the desert,
Lifted trucks,
lifted trucks.
bandanas, size 40 Dickies.
Yes.
It was like a whole phenomenon, you know? It was like just a whole different era. Like it was crazy. It was nuts. But yeah, I'll let you finish that.
Yeah, but that's where you grew up. That's where you
Yeah.
went, you finished high school out there. That's where your family
Yeah.
still is.
Spring is finally here, the sun is out, and the winter is behind us. And if you're like me, you're craving a little fresh energy and focus as the seasons change. Well, Mudwater provides that natural boost. Mudwater is not your average cup of joe. It's a cozy mix of cacao, chai, turmeric, and adaptogenic mushrooms to help you feel focused and balanced, not wired. And if you're a matcha lover, their matcha starter kit is a must-try. It's the perfect way to step into clean energy with matcha's calming, focused boost. My daughter got me hooked on the taste of matcha about a year ago, and I have to say their matcha is the best that I've ever tasted. Another great thing about Mudwater is every single ingredient in their products are 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. There's also zero sugar and no sweeteners added. And if you don't want the caffeine, there are caffeine-free blends available too. So, are you ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code STRONG. That's right, up to 43% off with code STRONG at MUDWTR.com. After your purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please show your support and let them know that we sent you. Keep your energy natural and refreshing all year long with Mudwater, because life's too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy.
But yeah, kind of just tell us how you went from club promoter to running, now training for a 300-mile race. Give us a little background.
Yeah, I mean, I started kind of like hosting with clubs and played different roles, and then kind of worked my way up to the top, and then, ran a club called Warwick and partnered with the owners there, and we ran that together for a good amount of time. Went through a dark situation, got accused of things I never did, kind of took a step back that year and just thought about like how I was going to rebrand and how I was going to put the truth of that story out there. And I kind of just sat down. I had a friend come by my house, and she was just like, I was at rock bottom, and she was like, yo, you need to write a book on your life. Like, your life was insane. Like, you had like the craziest life. And I was like, I've never even finished. I've never even like read a whole book in my life. And I was like, like I told her, and she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, cause I can't like sit still and read stuff for so long. And then literally she left, and it just put something in my head that day. And I ended up like picking up, Rich Roll's book.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other friend was like, oh, you got to read David Goggins' book. And then I started reading Rich Roll's book, and I was like, man, my story is way crazier than this. I gotta figure out how to write. And then I just started getting on the computer and like learning how to write, and then just started dialing in, changed my phone number, like disconnected from the world, social media, everything, and wrote that book like in 4 months. And
okay, I want to pause there. That is very fascinating what you
Yeah.
just said. So you changed your phone number, you disconnected from social media,
no one knew where I was.
and you chose to like completely hyper focus on this goal of writing a book.
Yeah. The goal of that book was to change one life and get my life back. It was like a double thing for me. Like, I knew if I could help other people and put the truth of this story in the book, and basically kind of just shit on myself that whole book. But it was just like relatable. It was just, I knew it would resonate with a lot of people, and I knew just being authentic and just kind of pulling down the curtains on myself and that life that I lived would just help people. And yeah, I dug into that thing for like 4 months and I finished it. I like literally would re-edit each chapter over and over. I probably read my book like 1,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
Over and over and over and over again. And then
That's like the biggest part of writing a book is the editing. There's
Yeah.
writing the book, and then
Yeah.
there's the editing takes the longest time.
Yeah. And then I sat on it and I kept writing my friends being like, should I come back on social media yet? And they're like, nah, the election's coming. There's this other movement. There's riots. There's this, there's that. They're like, it's just not a happy place on there. You're like, actually, like, you being off the internet right now is great. Like, you're not even seeing all this. This is like, during COVID time. And like, there was these crazy riots in LA where there was like 100,000 people in the streets and people were burning stuff. Like, I didn't even know it existed because I just wasn't watching anything. So I actually had like the best time, once I look back on it, I was like, wow, that was probably like the best time of my life. Like I just got to disconnect. I got up every day. I would like meditate. I got into running 100-mile weeks. I would do them on a treadmill. And
wow. Now, why did you do that?
After I was reading Goggins' book and I was like, yo, if this guy can run like 100 miles on like, graham crackers or whatever, like I was like, I can do this, and I'm like very like a big believer. If I see someone do something, I can do it and I know I can do it better. Like that's the way I see things, and I'm like, all right, so I'm just going to do this on the treadmill and I'm just going to see where it goes. And it was like, very therapeutic for me at that time. Like, it was like my time to like think about how I'm going to build this comeback, how I'm going to build this rebrand. It didn't happen overnight. It would be like month 3 of me running these 100-mile weeks. And on the treadmill, I'm like, boo, I got it. I figured I'm going to do this. I figured I'm going to do that, and it wasn't even until like, it took me about 8 months until I came back onto social media and I, put out this video and I was running for 5 minutes and I was talking about where I was. And I had like, we filmed it like in Santa Monica, like right, like in like that like park area, like above the water.
Oh yes.
And I had like my buddy had like one of those what are those 73 what are they, Super 73s?
Yes.
And then my other buddy like jumped on the back and like filmed and we like knocked it out and like we knocked it out on the set. We knocked it all on the one shot and like some homeless person came in and started screaming at us. And I was like it was like 6 a.m.
So LA.
So we just ran it like right back and we just knocked it out and we were done, and I remember just looking at the video and I'm like, man, I wonder like, and this video is pinned at the top of my Instagram page. So if anyone wants to like go and watch it, it's there. And I leave it there because it's part of my story. And like
your account is
at Eli, well, we'll say Wehbe, but Wehbe, yeah, it's Wehbe.
We'll put that in the show notes so people can click on that.
And by that time, we got the video done and then I launched it and man, it takes a lot for me to cry. And like the support that I had that day was like, because I thought it was going to be like this 50-50 split. And it was just like everybody was supporting me. And it was just like big names, big people, big influencers, local friends, like just childhood friends. Like it was just everybody. And the whole city was sharing it around and it felt good, like, and I don't know, man, I was super grateful that day. And that was it. And from that day on, I started posting more and more about my running. I archived all my posts on my page and I just had that running post up and I just started fresh. And from there, just kind of built my account as a runner. And like, I didn't know where I was going. I had no idea that I would ever make money from running. I had no idea that I was going to even make money doing like influencing stuff. Like I had no idea. I just kept putting it out there. And yeah, that's kind of like how everything came about to today. I didn't think that I ran my first 50K like maybe a month after I put that video out and didn't do too bad. I like came in like the top 10 and like I was just like, oh, it was like one of Jamil's races and like it was like the first race that opened up. I was pooped though. I was like so cooked as I tried to run it like I would like a fast marathon, I was just booking the whole thing. And then by like 25, I just tanked. I was like top 3 for like the whole time. And then I just tanked and lost it.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It's
so
the last
like
6 miles.
you don't know any better.
Yeah.
You don't know any better. So like, yeah, that's kind of how everything came about to where I'm at now. And, if you guys end up reading my book, my story's out there. It's not like it's hidden, it's on the internet. It's everywhere. Like I went through like a really dark time and, some of those, it was a ugly blessing in disguise. But like, I'm really happy to be out of that lifestyle. I've been sober. I'll be sober 5 years next month. And I'm just super grateful to be where I'm at now and, have the support that I do and just be out of that. Like, it was a dark, nightlife was a dark world. It was a dark, dark, dark world.
Well,
And
tell us a little bit about just nightlife in general. So, like, what you did. We have a lot of listeners. They don't
yeah.
know the LA scene.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't know club promoting. It's like what is that life like for real?
Yeah, you're out all the time. You're always hosting people. Like you're at a dinner, then you're at a nightclub, then you're at an after party, then like, some nights I'm not sleeping. I was doing a lot of drugs back then. I was drinking a lot. Like it was fun when I was like 21, and like fitness wasn't even a thing at that time, Going to clubs was cool, like that. We're in a whole different generation now. Like fitness is like praised now. Fitness industry and the health industry is way above like nightlife hospitality industry now. Like I think I was reading something saying like the percentage of people buying alcohol like in like Gen Z, like low 20s is like very low. And it's like, people that are up like where we're at, like, up 35 and above are the ones still buying alcohol and stuff like that. Like I don't know where I read it, but it's like a thing. And yeah, at that time, it was just, my book's called Mass. It's about like, I just never felt like I really got along with the people in that industry. Everything was just kind of like, you just kind of play the part to kind of get to where you need to go in the next move. And that's just kind of how Hollywood is.
Like you don't feel like you can trust people, or is it just
everyone's
trying to...
everyone's just trying to get to the next step. Like, people are only around as long as you have something to offer them. And then the second everything goes to one or two of those people will be around. I always told myself that. I remember one of my ex-girlfriends I was with for a long time, you read about her in the book, her name's Dakota in the book. She would always tell me like to get out of it. And, like I had so many connections, I could be doing better things. And every time I thought about it, I would be like, I know that when I'm not doing this, 99.9% of the people talking to me now are not going to talk to me. Like I was ready for that. So it wasn't like, even when I went through this dark time and some people turned their backs on me, some people like really came up out of the blue and like just were supporting me, and like you just really see who's real in these times, and I'm kind of grateful for that too. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to explain the Hollywood stuff. I mean, I explain it pretty good in my book. I kind of pull down the curtains. I pull down the curtains and give a lot of detail. And I think that was one of like the biggest comments I would get from people, and like a lot of older people that would read the book and be like, yo, I never thought I was going to resonate with any of this. And there were so many points in your book it could resonate with. And the one thing that I loved was like, I never knew like how like Hollywood nightlife worked. And like you literally explained it to the T in there.
You did a good job. I think one of the things I was like, man, he put it so plainly, but it's kind of like what we maybe think it's going to be, but it's just everything is really driven by looks and money.
Correct.
And like your status, celebrity status. Like you don't want to say that, but you're like 100%. Like if you're not good looking, you're not getting
in. Yeah.
Unless you're a celebrity or you have millions
money.
of dollars.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, there'd be people that'd be mad about it. I'm like, that's what it is, Like if you don't like it, then just don't. Like if you don't fit that criteria, then you just probably just don't go. Like at that point, because that's just the way it is.
It's
like
wild.
It's
to
wild,
say,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, I got turned down to so many things at the start of everything when I first got in. Like I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. It's whatever. Like, and people get so mad about it. Like nobody cares but the person that like gets denied, And it's just like, this whole thing is just some stupid small bubble of like a very small percentage of people. And like the second that you go travel or you get out of the city, you realize nobody gives a about what's going on in there. Sorry for the curse word.
Yeah.
I've been doing pretty good. Sorry, I know she tells me you guys don't curse. Yeah, doing curse. That was like the first one, but it's like the lightest curse word that you can say. Like I'm doing pretty good.
You have been doing good, Eli.
So
Thank you.
She didn't even tell me. Like I just kind of knew. Like I just know. I know Yellow Runner style around here.
You do know my style. I love it. You didn't at first, but you do now.
I do now. Yeah. We'll leave that one out, huh? You could get into it. Could,
This episode is brought to you by Function Health. Function Health provides transformative insights into your body that go beyond what's available at a standard doctor's visit. And this has been a game changer for me. I got into Function Health this year, and it's been incredible. I've already had a couple blood tests. It's been very insightful. It's helped with my diet. And now that I am in full-blown Badwater 135 training, this type of testing is very, very important for me. So Function is basically an all-in-one health platform. It starts with over 100 lab tests across your whole body every year: heart, hormones, liver, kidneys, thyroid, autoimmunity, cancer signals, toxins, nutrients. Lab visits are at one of 2,000 locations across the U.S., and it's just $4.99 per year. So basically, if you break it down per day, that's $1.37 per day. All results are tracked over time in one secure place with insights from top doctors based on your specific findings. Function is 5 times more testing than a typical physical and would cost you over $10,000 on your own. They don't try to sell you supplements or pharmaceuticals. There are no perverse incentives here. This is just the most powerful way to really own your health. You and your family should be on Function. And guess what? You can skip Function's wait list at functionhealth.com/Sally McRae. That's functionhealth.com/Sally McRae. Well, I think, the book was super fascinating to read. I love how vulnerable you were with your stories.
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of dig in just to how you found running.
Okay.
Because you said you weren't an athlete when
Yeah.
you were in high school, or you didn't consider yourself like a jock,
Yeah.
I guess, is because I think everyone kind of grew up playing sports. Like
Yeah.
when we were kids, like
Correct.
you played soccer, you played basketball, like
I played some stuff. I played football. I mean, not football. I played basketball here and there, but like I got into sports when I was like younger, but like as like high school went on, I got like into skateboarding and like kind of fell out of that and just was like, oh, how am I going to make money? Or like, how am I going to go to Hollywood and make it? Like that's where my head was at. I always go to the gym. Like, you know, my mom and dad were like big gym people. Like everyone knew them at the gym. They'd always be at the gym every day.
Really?
My dad was always on the treadmill. Like they knew this like thick mustache dude on the treadmill every day. And they were like hardcore gym junkies. Like they'd always put me like in the kids area, and like I'd always like look out the window and like, you know, so like
you're
that
in the kids club at the
yeah,
time.
yeah. So like I'd always like let's peek around in there and see what's going on. I always wanted to like be out there with like, you know, the teenagers and the grown-ups, but you couldn't, you know, so you had to wait. So that kind of like that probably stuck with me for sure. So like I did become like a gym guy, and like I don't think I was eating the healthiest for the longest time, but my dad was a big runner. He ran a lot of marathons, and I didn't like I don't know why, I just never really shared too much about that stuff because like I think from like the last 15 years he had been around, like I think in those like in the last 10 years he wasn't being able to run as much. Like it wasn't really on my mind, and I still hadn't gotten into running. And then I was running like just to get like I'd do fast cardio. Like while I was still going to the club and partying and stuff, I'd do like 3 miles on the treadmill, but I do 3 miles in like 18 minutes.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, I know. Like people, everyone always said that to me, but like it was just like, let me knock this out as fast as I can so I can get it done with. But I never tried to go past that. That was
With
it.
no training, like how did you get to?
Oh, well, like I'd
6-minute
start
pace?
running like I would just start running like 3 miles was like the max and the minimum I wanted to do to like burn calories, right? So I was like, oh, I'll just run 3 miles. So I'd start like I think the slowest I started was like a 7:30 per minute per mile pace, and then from there I would just kind of just set it to 7:30, and then like what is that, like 21 minutes? Yeah, it's like 21 on the nose, right?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then I just kind of worked it down, and like some days I would just be like, all right, let me just blast this like 18 minutes, and then I was doing it all the time, and then some dude that's big on the internet wrote me and was like, why don't you run past 20 minutes? And he's like, you're not even getting your cardio going. And I was like, all right, screw this guy. So that day I ran 6 miles. I don't know how fast I did. I think I did like a 7-minute pace at 6 miles. I wanted to see how it's going to feel. And then that day I went on the internet and like I tweeted, like at the end of that time, like Twitter was super popping. And like, I was like, just ran 6 miles. I think I'm going to run a half marathon and marathon this year. And like this other big notable guy that everybody knew was like F you, you're not running nothing. And he's like, if you could, and then he's like, you know, he made like a whole scene about it. And he's like, if you can run a whole marathon, like if you can run 70% of it and only walk 30% of it, I'll come host your club for free and be nice to your best friend for the rest of the year. And it was like this funny thing that was on the internet. And like he was just kind of talking. And like that got in my head though. So then I just started training. And then I ran my first half marathon and like, I think I did like a 6:28 pace or something like that. It was like an hour and 25 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
It was like the Pasadena half at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a lot of incline too. So
that is a solid pace for your
a first half
marathon.
yeah.
That is solid.
And this, like, I was doing drugs and drinking all this stuff at the time too. So it was like, in my head, I was kind of like, damn, I wonder if I could like run like way better if I was sober. You know, I would always think that.
Right.
And then I did my first marathon, and I did like.
Wait, when your parents found out that you were training for half, or did you tell them that you were
Yeah,
training
no,
for
they
half
knew. My dad
marathon?
was stoked. Yeah, my dad was stoked. My mom wasn't like, my mom, yeah, she likes it, but like my dad was a runner, So
Yeah.
like,
Did he try to coach you, or did he try to get
he
you
would just be like,
inspired?
son, I'm so happy for you. He's like, and he's like, he was the one that talked me into the half marathons. I told him I was going to do the full. He goes, son, do a half marathon first. Just trust me, get the feel,
Is that the accent?
Yeah,
right
he's
there,
like the
Dad's
super
accent?
Lebanese. Yeah. He's like, Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
he's
The
like,
dad called you Elias.
Mhm.
Aw.
My nickname was Lidlo. And they
What
would
is
always
it?
Lidlo. And,
Lidlo?
yeah, it's like a Lebanese thing. So like any like Lebanese families, they know like it's like a thing. It's like what they would call like anyone named like Elias. And yeah,
So he was so stoked. Did he go to the race?
no, I think he wasn't like, I think he was already having issues at this time. Yeah, it
Okay.
had to have been, right? Because it was like 2018 would have been my first race. Yeah, he was already having too many issues, like where he wasn't being able to walk as much anymore and stuff like that. So, but he was still pretty much like, his memory was still pretty good at that time and everything, So like I do the first half and I tell him, he's like, son, I don't ever run this fast. He's like, this is crazy, like, and then he goes, I told you, do the full now. And then I did the LA marathon that year too. Like
That was your first marathon.
yeah,
LA marathon.
it was like a 3:09. I like mile 22. I was like dying. I was like, I remember just being like, who was actually pacing me? Who's the vegan runner that's super big that did Bigfoot this year and did really well?
Oh gosh,
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You know exactly who it is. Why am I having like a blank?
They live here in SoCal?
No, he's like a teacher in Ohio. He's a really good runner. He's like he's ran the Appalachian Trails. Like he ran like the 2,000 miles on there.
Is it Harvey?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So Harvey Lewis was my.
Harvey's amazing.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew you know exactly who it was.
Yeah.
So the crazy part was
He paced.
well, hold on. He was holding like a 3:05 sign that day. All right. And I ended up just landing on him. And I was like, so we talked for like the whole run.
Nicest guy.
Nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I do ultra marathons. And I'm like, what the hell's an ultra marathon? He's like, he's explained this to me. And I'm like, give me your number and send me whatever photos you have us after. And like, so we still have these texts and like, and it was just like, I remember when I first got into.
Wait, do you have a picture of you running the LA marathon?
Yeah, I have that. You want that?
Oh yeah, that's up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's
showing.
showing. I love
that.
what people wear in their first races. What were you wearing?
All black.
You were?
Yeah,
okay, you
same
still had the style
yeah.
going.
I had a backwards hat on because I had shorter hair, and then I had like a tank top, but I was wearing like longer compression shorts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and no tattoos on my legs, nothing. I wasn't all. I think I had my arms done, and that was about it.
Okay, so running with Harvey, you guys have these texts you exchange. That's when you first learned about ultras. Was in your first marathon.
Correct.
2019.
I didn't even really like. No, that was 2018, but I didn't even really learn about it. He just told me like that he does ultras, and like I didn't look into it. Like I didn't dig into it at all, and like
because it's weird.
Yeah, and I ended up losing him in the last 4 minutes because I got a 3:09 and he finished at 3:05, and I was so pissed about it. But like I was just so dead.
Phenomenal. First marathon. Time, by the way, for not having any. Did you have any structure in your training?
No, I would
now
just
for
like
the marathon. Was your dad like Elias?
Yeah. Yo, from what I can remember, he would come home every day from work and then he would eat and then he would go run 10 miles. Like he would just he would just always run. Like he would come home, he loved his garden and he loved running. Like that was it. And obviously the family. So like everything was like work, plants, food, run, family. Like that was it.
10 miles, he had like a loop. He did it in the same amount of time.
He would like hide water bottles and stuff around the city. And like the whole city knew who he was. They would call him like the Tom Selleck of like running around. He had like this thick mustache. And he was like super tan and like these little shorts. I used to always make fun of him. Like, why do you wear such tiny shorts? Now I wear smaller shorts than him. It's crazy. Everything I talk to him about, I'm worse than him. Yeah. I've literally turned a spitting image of him. And
we turn into our parents.
Yeah.
As much as we don't want to, it starts to happen. I'm just waiting for the big mustache. I mean, what is...
Everyone keeps telling me, like, you need to get the mustache now. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It'd be kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm going to pull it off. Maybe just get a fake one and put it on and see what it looks like, My friend photoshopped one. He's like, and he put it by my dad's face. Like, I think you should do it. And I was laughing. But, so I do that LA marathon. And then I think a month later, I run, I think Mountains to Beaches or Ventura Marathon, one of them, and I did a sub 3.
Is it the downhill?
Yeah, I did like a 2:58, and I was so stoked on it.
Amazing. That was a month later?
I think so, because LA Marathon is March, and then it's either in April or May, but I want to say it's
You wanted that sub 3.
Yeah, that was it. Like that's all I wanted on the first one, you know. And then I went.
And how is your dad every time you finish these? Was he
Oh,
just like you're
he's
crushing all his time?
yeah. He was like, son, and he called his friends up. He's like, he's such a better runner than me, like losing it, you know. And like, well, you know, my dad was just consistent, you know. I don't think he really cared too much about like getting a sub 3. I don't know what his fastest one was. I think he was definitely in the low 3s, something like that. But he was just a grinder. Yeah, he was just a grinder, and I think it definitely like now it turned into me being this way, and like I don't think he ever thought I was gonna run, and I'm like super stoked that like he got to see my book, he got to see my running, he got to see my whole turnaround, he got to see my sobriety, like man, like he got to see everything before he went, you know, and like for me, like that meant like everything to me.
I know. We got tissues right there. You got audience. Eli, you
Yeah.
just lost your dad. So one, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Having lost your dad just a couple, was it 2 weeks now?
Yeah, almost 3 weeks on Tuesday. Yeah,
almost 3 weeks on Tuesday. And I know it's not easy losing a parent, and I know just from talking to you that your dad always was so supportive, and he was always there for you even when you're going through the really hard times, and you would go home and you're going through hard times, and he was always there. I just think it's really beautiful that in your recovery is where you found running, and that's something that your dad loves so much that you guys connected on.
Yeah, now I feel like I have to continue this like legacy now, you know, and like I almost like didn't even care about having a family until he passed, and I was like, oh, I got to continue this legacy, like I have to now, like that's like part of like it's not that I didn't care about having a family. It's just like everything's super rough in LA with dating, and like
Totally.
it's not really like you get older and you just don't feel like you're getting older out there. Like everything just feels so young because there's always just new people coming in and fresh faces, and like it's just very fast paced, and there's some sort of attachment for me out there still. I don't know what it is. I think I made myself in that city, and like I think if I do have a family in the future though, like I don't want to be in LA. Like I think it's not the place for me to be if I like gonna have a family, but for now that's where it's at. But yeah, man, my dad, he's like my best friend, and he was like the only person I looked up to. You know, I never looked up to any celebrities or anything like that. He like suffered his whole life for everyone to live a good life. You know, he was like a real man, you know, and like I knew that though. Like even when I was younger and I was like bratty and like I was selfish about things, like I just always knew, I'm like, man, how did I not like turn out like him? Like he's just so selfless, and now I'm starting to turn out like him, you know, and I think it just kind of took time, and I just haven't met another man like that, and like he just like I look up to it so much. Like, you know, he came over here as an immigrant, like he lost his dad when he was 13 years old. He had 4 sisters. His mom, he put all of them in college, took care of his mom, moved to the US, met my mom, took care of us, had a whole family. Like his story's just so dope, and like it's just so motivating. Like even when we were growing up, like he'd drive like the shittiest car in the house and make sure we all had nice cars and wear the same shirt for like 15 years straight, and like it made him happy, you know? So like my mom was like crying, and she's like, man, this guy just like suffered like his whole life for everyone to live a good life. He didn't even get to enjoy it. I'm like, yeah, but like he enjoyed that. Like he enjoyed like seeing other people thrive. He didn't care. Like everything was about everyone else about him, you know, around him, you know? And like, it's just beautiful. Like, it's just like when I look back on it, I'm just like, man, like, it's just so like, it's just like everything I aspire to be, you know?
Every day, I set an alarm for 9 p.m. It reminds me to wind down, boil some water, and drink some hot tea. I usually have chamomile or decaf green tea, but the one thing I always add to my tea is Monocora honey. I really love honey, and this is the most delicious honey that I've ever had. Monocora honey is rich, it's creamy, and contains powerful nutrients to support immunity and gut health. And it has 3 times more antioxidants and prebiotics than your average honey. And now it's easier than ever to try Monocora honey. Head to monocora.com/Sally to get $25 off the starter kit, which comes with an MGO 850 Plus Manuka honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's MANUKORA.com/Sally for $25 off your starter kit.
You and I were texting
Yeah.
because you had posted that your dad had passed, so I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And I knew you were at your family's house. And you were saying how this next race coming up, you want to do it to honor
Yeah.
your dad. Did your dad know that you were training for a 300-mile race? I
Yeah.
know he had some.
Yeah, he had his memory was getting real bad. Everything was just going declining, but the one thing he'd remember was my running, like the second I came in, he'd barely be there and he'd be like, "Son, how are you? Did you run today? Okay, you race soon?" And that was it. And he'd just go back to sleep. He's so sick. So even dude, this guy just never showed fear my whole life, not once. There never one time. I can't remember one time that he ever showed fear. Even when I last saw him on the bed before he went a couple weeks ago, I got a call from my sister and she's like, "Hey, I think Dad's gonna go in 2 hours." So I just drove as fast as I can to LA or to Moreno Valley where we grew up. And I walked in, he just wasn't even responding or anything to anybody. And I walked in, he saw me, he just goes like this and gives me a thumbs up and he goes like this, "I'm good," and that was it. That was the last time.
Very strong man. I think we have a lot of parents that listen to this podcast. And I think if there's one thing that we desire so much of our children is that they would talk about us the way that you're talking about your dad. That says so much about his character, and that's what we remember most about people. You're right. We don't remember the materials, the accolades, and the awards. It's really how they made us feel.
Yeah,
it's their character and who they were to the community and the people around them. But to know that this trajectory of your life that you've been on, the ups and downs that you have known, and to see where you are today, I mean, clearly you made your dad so very proud.
Yeah, I think that was the one. There was I'm so there's a lot of perspectives I got out of this whole thing. I have thousands and thousands and thousands of messages in my inbox, and I did I did my best to go through them all, and it helped me so much. After he passed, because there's so many people sharing their stories, and half of them were like, "Hey man, I just went through this," and half of them were like, "Man, I hope I can be as strong as you when I have to go through this." And Andy was one of the people that had written me something really nice. He's like, "Man, I pray on everything that my kid talks about me, the way that you do with your dad." It's so amazing to see. And another perspective I got on it was, majority of people don't get to be by their loved one's side when they die.
That's so true.
And I would say that my ending with my dad was a fairy tale for him and for me. He had us all around him, and he got to say bye to me. I got to talk to him, and most people just get a call and say, "Hey, your son passed, or your father's dead," and that's majority of people. I'd say probably 99.9% of the world. You don't get that chance. And that's my perspective on that now. And I'm kind of glad that I can see it in that light. And, I do my best to just keep showing up every day and showing people how to fight through these storms and turbulences, because we're all going to go through something like this at some point in life. It's just a matter of when and how. And I do my best to lead by example and show people that you can be strong through these things and not just completely fall apart. And I know that sharing my dad's passing over the last few weeks has helped thousands and thousands of people, because I've gotten messages over it, and it's helped me. And another thing that people don't get is, some people lose a loved one and don't have one person to talk to. And I have endless opportunities to talk to people, and I'm super grateful for that. And that was another way I looked at it too. And I'm just man, there's some people that lose their mom or lose whoever's close to them. They don't have one friend. They don't have anybody to talk to. And I think even me sharing my story, if there is somebody out there like that and they're following me, then that there's some sort of light in me sharing that story.
Absolutely. And and you're so right that it's the thing that binds all of us. I mean, we are all destined for our lives to end, and pain is something that we will all know in our life. And I think that it always does come at a surprise when we lose someone. Even when we know that they're fading away, we don't understand how that's going to affect it. It's so hard to interact with it. And I think using your platform, the massive platform that you have, to be so vulnerable and share this journey of both mourning, but also still getting up every day and living your life in a way that your dad would want you to.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
You keep on saying, "My dad was a grinder. He worked so hard." It's that's actually how you live your life.
Yeah.
Every single day, you're getting up at 4 a.m. You're putting in that effort. You've made goals for yourself, and now dedicating this race to him. I mean, you're going to have an amazing You're going to have an amazing race. You have a lot of people already that are cheering for you in that race.
I got some fuel. I got some different kind of fuel in me, and I'm going to print out a photo of him and laminate it and put it in my bag. And anytime I feel like I want to quit or put down, I'm just going to pull that thing out and just start charging,
That's
and like, that's kind of where my head's at on it. And touch back on what you said, like, I do feel like he's proud of me. And I guarantee you, like, if I was still in Nightlife and I was still doing drugs and stuff, I would have felt like such a loser, like if he had passed. And I remember, like, when he was sick, I kept thinking he was going to go over these last 5 years. And then I would be like, oh, just let him see me run this 200-mile race. And I'm like, and then I finished it. And then I was like, let him see me, like, write my book at least. And he's like, son, you're such a good author, And like, it's like, man, he just go off about it. And then like 2 days later, he forgot that I wrote the book. But like, I know he read it, like that was it. That's all that mattered to me. And I remember I have this photo of him reading my book. And like, it's so dope. And it's funny. I have like this whole, when he was passing, I stayed the night over the hospital. My mom's just, she's so strong. She's such a G. And like,
Warrior.
honestly, like me and my mom didn't have the best relationship growing up. And I think I always kind of had a closer connection with my dad. And the second my dad got sick, we became best friends. So that was like one of the silver lining in the story of my dad getting sick is just like me and my mom have gotten so close, and she's been taking care of him. Like, I mean, she's tired. She's so exhausted. And I remember when we were at the hospital, she looked at me and when she was like, he's gonna go. Like, I know he knows that you're here now. Like, you have us, you're protecting us. He's gonna let go finally because he's been suffering for so long. Like, I just know he's gonna let go now. And like, I told him like I'd stay the night with him. So my mom and sister went home and I just stayed side by side by him. And he used to love the movie Gladiator. It was like, we used to watch this movie like, he'd be like, son, come sit down. You need to understand this movie, And like, this is like how he was, And we would watch it like every week. It was like our thing. My mom's like, oh, not Gladiator again, And I posted about it on my Instagram, and it was crazy how many people wrote me and was like, yo, that's me and my dad's favorite movie. And it's like just based on strength and honor and just like morals and family. Like, like that movie's legendary. It is one of my favorite movies. And
such a good movie.
And yeah, I remember I was just sitting at the screen. I was like, just sitting by him side by side. I was just me and you tonight, Pop, And I slept by him on like some chair, and I just kind of listened to his breathing, and I looked up at the screen. I ended up putting up a post about Gladiator, and it ended up going crazy. Like, people were like resonating so heavy with this Gladiator thing, and somebody even offered me like, yo, can I send you an Apple TV so you can put it on the TV to watch it? A girl that I knew, and I was like, it's okay. Like, I don't think he's going to be watching anything now, Like, I was like, I got to go to bed. It's getting late. And then the next morning I got up and I could hear him breathing still. And I just felt like something, like I felt like him telling me like, yo, go get your workout in, like, don't sit here. So I left and I go, there's no way he's passing until I get back. I got back. We hung out for an hour, and I'm going through all of our photos in my, like, I kept searching his birthday in my phone because I always took photos of him on birthday and Christmas. And I created this.
His birthday?
August 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm like, I want to say, oh yeah, it is 29th. I want to say 27th because my sister's is May 27th, but it's August 29th. That's why I always get like those two confused. But so I would search every month and start at the top of the album, and they would always be pictures of me and him. And I'm like going through all of them. And I look at him, he's still breathing. And I could tell his breathing was getting slower and slower. And I swear on the last album of like his last birthday, I put it, and that was it. And he went. It was almost like he knew. And it was just crazy. But tough times, guys. Tough times, but this is life, and this, you don't get to choose when people go. And I'm just grateful that I got the time I got to spend with him, and he got to see where I'm at now.
He lived a great life,
yeah.
And he raised a great son. And I think it'll be really exciting. One, watching the first 300 plus, I think it's 309 miles.
309.
Yeah.
My watch will probably give me like 330, and I'm like, damn it, Candace. Always got to do this.
I know.
I used to do it to Jamil too. When I used to like first got into races and I would do any Era Viper races, he'd be like, all right, it's a 50K. And then like I'll have like 36 on my, and I'm on the watch. I'm like, I'm tired. I want to get this done with. Screw you, Jamil.
Yeah.
Like in my head.
Yeah.
Like,
the beauty of ultras.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, is it really that far? But so we're doing the first 309-mile race. It'll be really exciting to track that. But also I think just the spirit in which you're doing it.
Yeah.
I know that'll resonate for a lot of people. I mean, we see this a lot in running. People will run in the memory of someone or fueled by somebody else. And so that's a really long way that you have to go. And you and I both being 200-mile athletes.
Veterans.
Yeah, we know that, the first 100 miles, we're fine. And then you hit 150, 160, 170, but you're going to 300 plus. So you're going to have a lot of people rooting for you.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that you're going to make sure you get to that finish line.
It's going to be a good race. Let's just say that. It's going to be a whole different Eli out there.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. And I think I got a solid team. I have like a lot of good people backing me. I have a lot of experienced people running with pacing me. So I just got to run. I got to listen and run, and that's it. And I'm going to be good. And all the other races I went into, I just like threw a 15-pound bag on my back and just let people. Let people like that were like, hey, I'd love to come crew you and stuff like that. They didn't really know what they were doing, but like you can't be mad at them. They're coming and taking time out of the day to come help me. So like I was basically like coaching these guys while I'm running my race, and like no one's kind of giving me any advice. So I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep running. I just get to the start lines where I'm like, yo, do you like, how are you gonna run the 300? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I just get to the start line and I just start running like I do every morning, and then like you just got to keep going. Like
so
you can't think about it.
You can't. It's too big.
It's too much to think about.
And even when you finish, and maybe this is just me, but like even when I finish, I'm like, wait, that was 200 miles, that was 240, that was 250. It's hard to like.
You'd almost like forget a lot about it. I don't remember it till like the next year when I start doing like another race where I'm like, or like if I go into the same race again, when I ran Moab again last year, I was like, I remember all of this. And after the race, I'm like 6 months later, I'm like, do you remember? I was like, I don't remember any of it. And everything came back to me the second I got out there.
It is weird. You look at your watch and you're like, oh, 183 miles. It's just weird.
Well, you're just hallucinating at that time. Like you just keep going. You're just like, all right, well, 1 mile down, 299 to go. Like, you know, it's just, you're just out there for so long. You just, I think the first 24 hours of any of those races is the toughest for me, at least. Like it's just a whole mental battle.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when you get really sick or something bad happens. And then you're just like, man, I haven't even started yet. Like at Moab, I was throwing up all over the place at mile 17, laying on the rock. And
that's rough.
Everybody saw me. They're like, that guy's dropping for sure. He's not coming back from that. And Andy was like, you're fine. Threw some snacks on me. He's like, I'll see you in a bit. He's like, you're going to catch me. You're fast. I know. And I did catch him. So it's like, he ended up leaving, he got some sort of heat stroke or whatever he got. It was
scary.
Bad. It was bad. I was down bad first. And then I just started walking again after laying down. I lost like that whole day. I like went from leading the pack to like the complete back of the pack to still coming back into like top 20 by the end of it. But like, it was rough. I had like, one of my buddies, he like was just like, dude, no one cares if you win this race, just go finish it. Like your following and your audience, like they just want to see you do tough shit. Like they don't care about the win. Just like don't, because I remember I called him at mile 55. I'm like, I'm done. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, I came out here, I left my family. Like you're doing this shit. And I was like, I'm done, dude. I've been throwing up for like, he's like, when's the last time you threw up? I was like, like 6 hours ago. He goes, okay, all right, just get to the next aid station. He goes, you're not sick anymore. He's like, get to the next aid station. Then he sends me this crazy text and was like, you're just going to let down all these people, huh, that are following you? All right. Just want to look like a loser, huh?
Oh, he knew how to get in your head.
And I just run him like F you. And I said, F you, I'll see you in 12. And I started running like a 6:30 pace, like for like these 12 miles. I was flying, passing so many people. They were like losing it. They were like, what's wrong with this guy?
Oh my God.
And I got to the next aid station so fast that they weren't even there when I got there.
That's
they
amazing.
like because they couldn't even like the tracker's like a little delayed sometimes, so like it didn't keep up, but I got some more downtime when I got there.
Yeah, you definitely have fire in you.
Yeah,
and that's a good friend that kept you going.
Man, he wasn't letting it go. He was just like because he argued with me for a while on the phone, but he's like, okay, I hear you. All right, I hear you, and then just kept like listening to me, and then like, okay, cool, just come to the next aid station. You want to quit over here, you can quit over here. He just wanted to get me to him,
Yeah.
And then I got there, and then I was like, come on, I'm amped, let's go. And he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Will he be at the 300?
He was supposed to be. His name's Stephen Wrigley. He's a beast, a big family guy. I actually met him at Moab 240 the year we ran it. We ended up going up the Shea Mountain together. Oh man, it was miserable that year.
He runs 200s.
Oh yeah, he does them all.
Oh,
He does Cocodona. He's done Moab.
No wonder he knew to talk to you that way.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think people always do. I think sometimes when people come out to crew that haven't been in a 100-mile race or like they get really emotional when you're hurting. You're like, what? You're throwing up? You need to drop out. Like this is dangerous or this is like really scary.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, one of the guys on my team was saying that. He told him to pack his stuff up and go home.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like no. This is literally part of getting to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like this is. But I think too, what's so fascinating with the 200s. I mean, these further along. I feel like, because I'm training for Badwater right now, and Badwater's like this. It's like no one cares who's first, who's like just the fact that you can finish.
You're a badass.
Everyone respects.
Yeah.
Like you have full respect for every single person that is standing at the start line. And I felt like that at every 200. It's like you look around, you're like, all of you are
like,
amazing.
Yeah,
like, we
for
all
sure.
actually believe that we can get to the finish line of this distance. So, just a different mental like perspective is if I can get to the finish line, that's huge.
And I think that was kind of like my goal, like even doing all of them last year. I was like, let me see if I can just finish these things, you know? And then like I was like, oh, like I'm not doing, still kind of like the front, like still with like, you know, this, not like the back, not even the back or the middle. I'm kind of with like these front people now. And I was like, let's see what we got this year.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got this year, you know? So
you're itching to put the gas.
I'm putting the gas down on this
yeah.
race. Pop's coming with me in the bag, and like we're cruising it together. I feel him out there when I'm running now. Like I'm not a big religious guy. I definitely believe in some sort of higher power, and you know my family's super religious. And I remember when he passed. 2 days later or 3 days later, I think I went for my first trail run. I ran so fast, and like all these pains that I had in my body just disappeared, and like I felt him out there with me. And then that was a day where like I was like, oh yeah, we're doing some damage on this next race.
Yeah.
Like he's coming with me, he's gonna be there with me, and like, yeah, I don't know, man. Life's crazy. And it's funny when you lose somebody that's so close to you. A lot of shit just doesn't matter to you anymore. Like your just perspective on life changes. Just things I just cared about, just dumb things you just don't care about anymore. Just everything changes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
You appreciate the little things. You realize that we don't know the number of our days, and you cherish the opportunities you have. You cherish having a healthy body, an able body, and it's weird how that kind of spurs you to live a little more courageously.
Yeah.
You're like, this is it. Like
Yeah.
no one else can live your life for you, Eli. Like this is your shot. This is you're either going to choose to give everything you got or just to kind of sit and be sad. And I think that's what we're always working through in life, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to sit in my disappointment, or I'm going to sit when I'm sad or when I'm frustrated, or I'm just going to like say, nope, I'm going to put all my energy into moving forward. And I think your next 300-mile race is going to be a beautiful story about that.
Oh man, I can't wait. And yeah, I think one other thing I want to touch on is one thing I was kind of just expressing to people a lot was I think for a lot of my youth, I had the opportunity to go see my family a lot, and I didn't. You know, like I'd go down maybe once a month or like twice a month or whatever it is. If you really do the math on it, even if you saw your family once a week, it's a very, very short time. And like people don't really think about things like that. So you know, I can't stress enough of like, you know, if your mom and dad are still around or any of your loved ones are still around, go spend time with them, call them, talk to them. Like, I don't have any regret. Like I had like, you know, I was in my 20s. I definitely didn't know any better. I just always thought they were going to be there. And this past 5 years, I would go down at least once a week and go see them. And like, I put that out there on social media, and there was a lot of people who were like, damn, I need to start doing that. And I was one of those people because I had friends that lost their parents, and they would be like, yo, go hang out with your dad and mom. They're still here. And I'm like, nah, you know, like, don't tell me what to do, you know, type of thing, you know? And like, you just don't know what people's relationships are with their families. And I'm obviously talking to the people that have good relationships with their family, correct? Because, you know, I got one person that was like, my mom did this to me, and my dad did this to me. I'm like, dude, we're not talking, like, come on, like, there's common sense to this, you know? So like, it was a one person, you know, and I was just like, I don't think anybody else took it that way. But, you know, there's some people that are so damaged from their families that, you know, she felt like, you know, she had to say something. So, and I get it. Like, again, I'm saying like, if you have a semi-decent connection with your family and like, you know, just, living in regret is the worst. And like living in regret of not seeing your family or just somebody going, I have a lot of friends that are like, man, like I wish I went over there more, and man, I wish I did this more. And like, I don't have that feeling, luckily, but like, I could only imagine. And I think I would have had that feeling if my dad would have gone in like my nightlife days, because that was like my whole life. My nightlife and my career and my money and business came before everybody. It was like them, my relationship, and then my family. You know, like everything was just kind of backwards. Like it just didn't, my mind wasn't right, you know? Like I just didn't know any better, I guess, right? Like you just like, that's all that kind of mattered. And now everything was like family first, you know? Because once they're gone, like, they're not coming back. Like, that's it. That's the end of it, you know? And I don't know. That's just like one message I'd like to leave with people. And call them, talk to them, like, and if you're fighting with them, fix it, man. It's just like not worth it a lot of the time, if it's fixable. I'm not telling anybody. It's just, you guys
No,
get what
I
I'm
love the
saying. Yeah,
message.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't even think you need to
yeah,
backstep any of it because
yeah.
not everything is for everyone.
Correct.
And I think people have, logic enough to know.
Understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really encouraging. I think it's good to encourage people like, today's the day that you can forgive. Today's the day that you can love. Today's the day you can try again. Today's because that's all you have.
Yeah.
We don't get to change yesterday. We don't get to control what's ahead of us. And so I love that that's the message that you really want to put out there.
Yeah. And I was pushing that, like, even when, like 2 weeks before my dad passed, I seen him and I was just like, like there was a hospice doctor that came to the house, like not like long before. And he's like, oh, he's got a lot of life left in him, but I would see him and I'm like, man, this guy's like down bad. I'm like, what is like, like, I don't how much longer is he going to live like this? He's been suffering for so long. Like, and he ended up passing a couple days after that anyway. But I remember I had posted a photo of, my thing with my dad was his thumbs up, anytime like everything could be down so bad and he would just hit me with a smile and just say like this, like everything's good, because like I said, he never showed any fear. And he gave me this thumbs up and I took a photo of it when we did and I posted and I was just like, yo, go be with your family if you can, go see them. Like, you just don't know when it's going to end. And, somebody listening to this today, like, might be fighting with their mom or dad and they're going to hear it and they're just going to pick up the phone and call them. And like, that's what matters to me. And like, there was multiple people that wrote me and was like, yo, thank you for this. Like, I booked a flight. I'm going to go see my family.
Wow.
It's like, because they're seeing look how bad this beat me down, and they're like looking at photos of me and my dad's sick and like just what I've written about my dad. And they're like, damn, man, I need to go see my family. Like, they're still here. Like, what am I doing? And like, it's just like, there's nothing you can do about it. When it's over, it's over. And all you have is the memories now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Elias, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
You've encouraged a lot of people today. You've inspired a lot of people. You left us with a really good message. Let us know, what is the date of your race and then where can we follow you?
Oh, yeah. April 4th, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. start?
Gnarly,
Why?
huh? And it's going to be 97 that day.
Why? Why can't it be a 5 a.m. start?
Yeah, well, Candace, if you're listening.
Most of our races start later in the day.
What's funny is I hit up Natasha that does all the medical stuff. Yeah, she's
awesome.
great. And I was like,
her.
I wrote her and I'm like, 2 p.m., because I'm cool there. And she's like, you said you want to do tough shit, right? And I'm like, she's like, the whole thing's going to be hard, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. I was like, yeah, it's not going to really change anything. We're going to end up running at 2 p.m. at some point anyway. So
exactly.
Like, she gave me a good perspective on it. I just wrote her just to write her. I was like, come on, like 2 p.m. And I'm like, what is this? And then, I just don't even care about it anymore. But 2 p.m., we're starting April 4th. And this race is going to be a little different for me. I try to do like live updates while I'm running and stuff. And my coach, Ben, I think I told you about Ben Light before. He was always in Mike McKnight's corner. He's coaching and, kind of leading the whole crew for my race. And he was telling me that him and Mike had ran the 800 miles like against each other or whatever on the trail.
Yeah.
And so he said there's a lot of phone service on the thing. And normally I would like update and do stories and stuff. I'm going to probably maybe do 1 or 2 a day. I don't want to get sidetracked with any of that stuff, but just like people love that stuff. And like they love seeing like the live stuff going on. So maybe 1 or 2 max a day and that's it. And then other than that, I'll update my stories and I will put a tracking link in my bio for the race. And I think we already gave my Instagram. It's at ELIWEHBE. And
we'll put a link for your book too.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead and check all of those out. And if you would like to send Elias an encouraging message, you could do that directly on his Instagram. And then you can follow along for the first ever 309-mile race. These aren't ultras; these are epics. I've been saying that for the last 2 years. They're above and beyond. They are epic adventures, and I'm so excited to hear how it goes for you. But most importantly, Elias, thank you for just sharing yourself. And to all of our listeners, if you're still running, you're still working in that training, we want to encourage you to keep choosing strong in all you do.